Hi friends, welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be covering the December wrap-up plus the January TBR. So this video, we're gonna go back to all the books that I read in December and we are going to give them a rating, and then we are going to go through our January TBR for this month, set some expectations of what it is that I'm looking for, because I have some exciting books for January, and so I kind of want to show you guys what it is that I want to read in this next month and really want to sort of indulge in and really just kind of like read at my own pace, if that makes sense. So let's just go ahead and jump right into our December wrap-up. The first book that I read in December was Starlit Winter Nights by Nora Roberts. This book was really fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a very short read. It's a short book. It was really well paced, I feel like, until the very end. It just felt like everything kind of like fell together like in one huge like moment. But other than that, it had everything that I would want in a Christmassy kind of book. So this book, I ended up rating it a 3.5 stars. It wasn't that bad of a book. However, I don't know if I would recommend it unless you're into like short like novelas like this one, or if you like Nora Roberts as an author. The next book that I started in December was actually A Holly Jolly Ever After by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. And this book, unfortunately, I had to DNF it. It was just not doing it for me. This book was kind of like cringy in certain moments, and I just felt uncomfortable reading it. Like I was like, this isn't for me. The next book that I read in December was called Christmas Baggage. This book was written by Deborah N. Hathaway, and I actually gave this book a 4 stars just because it was so much fun. The romance was so cute. It was so entertaining. The scenery, the setting of the story. Hello, you're in the UK, you're in London. All the British vibes. Like, it was just a really fun read. And also the main characters, really just like, I enjoyed their banter and like their characteristics and their personalities. So that's why I gave it a 4 stars. The next book that I read in December was In a Holidays by Christina Lauren. This book I did half audiobook, half reading the actual physical book. And let me tell you, I did not know what to expect going into this book, but once I read it and like got through the entire thing and got to like the more interesting parts of the book, I really connected with the characters. I felt like it was such a heartwarming story, especially around the holidays, like Christmas time. It was one of those books that reminds you how important family is and how important gratitude is, and just like spending time with your loved ones, because you never know like when your last day will be. This book, I enjoyed it. I loved it a lot. However, I did rate it a 4 stars because I would recommend this book, especially as like a holiday book. It's very like, it's a very heartwarming book. However, it's not like super 5-star material for me, and that's why I gave it a 4 and not a 5 stars. Moving on to my January TBR, because this is going to be an exciting time. There's a little bit of variety in this pile for my January TBR and books that I'm just like looking forward to reading, to finishing, to rereading. So the first book that is on my January TBR is actually the one and only Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book is a reread, and I've been dying to read this book, I think since beginning of last year, and I just never got around to reading this book beginning of last year. So I really want to be intentional with reading this book again, going over my previous notes and seeing like how much my mentality and my habits have changed since the last time I read this book, which I believe was in the beginning of 2021, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm super excited to get into Atomic Habits once again, and this will count as my first reread of this year, which I'm so excited about. Hey, if you guys have not read Atomic Habits by James Clear, I highly recommend you get your hands on this book and you really just take your time with it. It's a book where you kind of have to like go through the motions, understand, reread, go back and really think about the methods and the strategies that he's applying in this book. So I cannot stop raving about this book. This book is definitely on my top 5 like favorite books ever that I've read. And he also has like email sign-ups, so if you're interested in like getting emails from him every Thursday, he calls them 321 Thursdays. So there's like 3 quotes, or it's like 3 strategies, 2 quotes, and then 1 question for that day or that week, depending on when you read or like how you want to apply it. Honestly, I can say so many great things about Atomic Habits. Habits are so important, and he teaches you how important they are, the statistics behind it, the psychology behind it, and then how to create your own habits that make sense for you and keep track of that as well. So the next book that I have on my January TBR is actually the one and only ACOTAR by Miss Sarah J. Maas. And I will say that I did start this book a while back on my Kindle. I had purchased it, but I never got around to finishing it. I think I'm like 40% through this book. And the reason why I never got around to finishing it was because I had asked for the book set for Christmas. And here it is. So this is the first book in the ACOTAR series, for those of you that are not familiar with it, but I highly doubt that you are not familiar with it, because this book and this series has just taken the world by storm. This book is on my finish list because I am like almost halfway through, so I kind of want to finish it this month and then probably do like a reaction video or like a 3-part, 4-part series on just like the ACOTAR series books. So we're getting started, or at least we're finishing for this month. The next book that I have on my TBR is Fear the Flames by Olivia Rose Darling. I actually was able to download this book on my Kindle, and so I'm reading it through there, and I think I'm like 5% through. The issue that I'm having this month is that I have so many books that I started reading last year that I didn't get to finish. So my January TBR is also like books that I started and haven't finished yet. So Fear the Flames is definitely one of those books that I started and I have yet to finish. The next book on my TBR is Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. This book is the book that I've been waiting for. I don't want to put it off any longer. However, I feel like this is going to be a book that I'll probably read at the end of January, just because I want to like take my time getting to this book, and I also don't want to start this book and then be halfway through like 3 other books. So I really want to be intentional with this book specifically, because if you all don't already know, I was obsessed with Divine Rivals. I'm still obsessed with Divine Rivals. Iris and Roman live rent-free in my heart and in my head, just because they are probably the cutest couple that I've ever seen or that I've ever read in a really long time. So I'm excited to continue this duology with Ruthless Vows and really see like what happens next. If you guys have not already read Divine Rivals, we all know that at the end of Divine Rivals, it ends with a cliffhanger, which is very sad. But it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. And this is also the special edition, like the exclusive edition of this book. So I'm so happy that I was able to get my hands on this and pre-order it when I did. So I'm excited to get to this book, and we'll see how it goes. Maybe it'll be in a reading vlog. I don't know. So the next book on my January TBR is The Ballad of Never After by Stephanie Garber. This book I have been wanting to read ever since I read Once Upon a Broken Heart a couple months ago. I want to say like back in September of last year. And I haven't gotten around to it. I did purchase the Curse for True Love back when it was like in pre-order. So I actually pre-ordered Ruthless Vows and A Curse for True Love at the same time. And so I have Once Upon a Broken Heart, I have A Curse for True Love, but I don't have Ballad of Never After, but that is on my TBR. And if I don't get around to it, it's okay. Like I can always come back to it next month. I think actually February would be perfect to read Ballad of Never After. But hey, the next book that I have on my TBR, and I think it's probably the last one, is actually One Dark Window. The reason why One Dark Window is still on my TBR is because I started reading it, I want to say like mid-December, and with the moving and with all the things that I had to do, some new responsibilities, some new adjustments that I've had to make over the past few weeks, I actually haven't gotten around to completing the entire book, which normally it would take me probably like a week or maybe less than a week if I'm very like consistent with the reading. However, because I was doing so much and I was going through all these changes, I unfortunately am almost done with the book. I want to say I'm like halfway through the book now. One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig is another book that I want to complete at the end of this month. And then hopefully if I have enough time, I'll get into Two Twisted Crowns, but that will be only if I have enough time. I really hope that I'm able to get through my TBR for this month, because it seems like it's a really good like book stack of books that I've just been like needing to complete at this point. Like I've put them off for way too long and I just need to rip off the band-aid and get it done. That's pretty much why this TBR is so jam-packed and stacked with great and amazing books. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope that you like, comment, and subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a great one. Bye.